The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another QuoteWerks 101, our regular series of short presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of QuoteWerks. And in this session, I'm going to cover how you include leasing figures on your sales quotations. So this is not going to be a presentation about the benefits of leasing. It's just really if in your business you are offering leasing as an alternate way of the client, your customer purchasing your products and services rather than an outright purchase, then this will be the session for you. And a lot of companies will use leasing, and sometimes it may be a good idea to lead with leasing, particularly on large, high value goods. It can offer your customers maybe a lower payment schedule rather than an outright purchase. It may protect their lines of credit. It could be an easier way of them budgeting for your products and services. There could be tax advantages. As I say, this is not really a presentation about the benefits of leasing. You'd have to talk to your finance partner or your leasing provider to get information on that. But how do you incorporate that into QuoteWerks to make sure that you're promoting that as a way of an alternate way for your client to buy your products and services? So hello, my name is Tim Wilmot from Wizard Systems, and my company, we are a specialist CRM solutions provider, providing a range of different CRM solutions, including QuoteWerks, and we essentially help small and mid-sized companies, mainly in the UK, help them out with their sales, marketing, and customer service through the use of solutions like QuoteWerks. Now, this presentation will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just an overview of incorporating leasing within your sales quotations, not meant to be an in-depth training session as such. And my company, Wizard Systems, we offer loads of different help options if you want to consider that with us. The audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got a question, pop that into the questions section on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also, at the end of the event, I will give you an update on any QuoteWerks product news for you, and afterwards you will get those listening live, watching live, you will get an email from our system with a link to the recording. You can play that back if you want to. And it will be up on our YouTube channel as well. Just go to YouTube and search for a channel name, Wizard Systems, all one word, that's us, and you'll find loads of other videos up there. Quick mention about us. We are a long-standing QuoteWerks partner, well over a couple of decades promoting, supplying, and supporting QuoteWerks. And we provide all of the services you'd ever need around QuoteWerks. We provide the product, we provide upgrades, integrations, implementation, training, and support as well. Okay, so let's get into QuoteWerks then and cover leasing. So this is a quote I've created already. And on the sales info tab here, if you've got leasing, your leasing options configured, and more on that in a minute, this is where we can add in the lease payment options. Now I am going to cover two ways of managing leasing payment or promoting leasing payment options with QuoteWerks. This is option number one. This is using the built-in lease payment options within QuoteWerks. So I've created a quotation already. There it is there. And on my sales information tab, I can go down to add a leasing payment, and depending on the provider that I've got and their rate card, you see here there's two drop down lists there. There are some built-in ones for a couple of US providers. There are none for UK. You'd have to create those on your own. I'll show you an example of how to do that. So you've got a leasing partner, the leasing provider, and then you've got their rate card, and you have then the term options. So the monthly options, 12, 24, 36 months, for example. Maybe slightly some US terminology here. So FMV, fair market value. I don't think that's used a lot in the UK, and then the $1 buyout at the end of the term. So you would select that and your advance payment options there as well. So when you click on the Get Lease Payments, it will calculate based on the subtotal of your quote, and you need to tick this little checkbox here if you want to include VAT or sales tax in that lease amount. Normally in the UK we wouldn't, especially if we're supplying to another business. And here are my two options for 24-month or 36-month lease. So maybe for this particular quotation, I want to illustrate to the client a 36-month lease on the total value, £4,411.77, and that's £139.41 per month. So I can add that to the quote. Now, another part of this is the quotation layout. So I have already created my quotation. I've got the customer details in there as well. I now go to deliver, and this is where I can, provided my quote layout supports this, I would select the quote layout that includes the leasing figures. And if I just show you a preview of this one, let me just zoom in a little bit here, a little bit more. So scroll down a tiny bit here. So there's my total, subtotal, excluding sales tax, excluding VAT, and then my leasing illustration here, 36-month monthly payment of 139.41. Now, how does that all get in there? Well, there's two elements to that. First of all, in your options, so if I go to Tools and Options, there is a leasing tab, and this is where we can select the different providers that you've got and the lease terms, quite an extensive range of months there, and then the purchase options at the end of the lease term, and some advance payment options there as well as regards months. There is also a macro that you can use for displaying this information on your quotation layout. So let me now just go into that particular layout. So if I go back to deliver, highlight that quote I just previewed, go to the layout of that quote. If I just scroll down here, this is where we have that those leasing figures displayed on that quote, on that particular quotation layout. Another element to this is an XML file. So if I just pop into Windows Explorer and I go into my QuoteWerks folder and my lease rate cards subfolder off of QuoteWerks, here is, let me just extend this out a bit. Here is this XML file. If I just double click here, you'll see the syntax. Don't be fazed by this too much, but it's basically here you can see the month terms and the values that we've got here within that month term, and then the rate that we're going to be using for calculating that on the subtotal to give you, or to give your customer, the actual monthly lease rental or lease purchase figure. So that's an XML file. We can assist you in creating that if you want to go down that route by using the internal, as I say, the internal leasing capability of QuoteWerks. The other option is to use a calculation. This might be a simpler way. Use a calculation that's displayed on your quotation layout. So, same quotation. I go back to deliver and highlight a different quotation layout. Click on preview. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So let me just zoom in again on this one. So here is my quotation, slightly different layout, but right down the bottom, yes, I've got my normal total VAT, total including VAT, but over on the left-hand side, we've got the equivalent leasing figure, in this example, over 12 months. So that is a calculation that's actually built into the quotation layout. So if I just close that down, and what we're doing here, we're leveraging formulas within the quotation layout. Formulas can be used for all sorts of different things within a quotation layout. So I go back to my quotation layouts again, highlight that one, click on the edit button here, and right down the bottom here again, I've got my leasing section right in the report footer or the end of the quotation. And if I just edit this formula here, one I've created previously. Now, don't be fazed by this, but this is basically going into looking at the actual subtotal of the quote. And if the quotation is over £1,000, there might be a qualifying value. Your leasing provider may say to you, we will only finance sales deals above £1,000, for example. Well, if it was 1,500, I would change that figure. And then you'd have the rate per month, whether it was the 12-month rate or the 24 or 36. I think with this one, you've got to maybe lead with a particular term. In this example, this would be a slightly higher rate there, but this is over a year, 12 monthly payments. So that goes in there. You may also want a label as well, so that as well as the figure, you have a label before or after that particular calculation. And this is a similar formula in this example to pop in a little formula there, which may or may not display, depending on whether the subtotal is above the qualifying value of £1,000. So there you are, a couple of ways of leading with leasing to promote leasing as an alternate way, not only giving obviously your customer a one-off purchase cost for your products and services, but using either the built-in leasing options within workbooks or using more of a manual calculation of formula built into the quotation layout. Hopefully that's been of interest to you. If you've got any questions around this feature, pop those into the questions section on the meeting control panel. I'll do my best to answer those. Question from Phil. What do you do if the rate changes? Well, if you're using the built-in QuoteWerks leasing feature, then you'd have to go to that XML file. I just double-clicked on it and just change it and then just save it. So you can tweak it there, whether it's, well, I guess it would change right across the board, the 24, 36-month figures, or if it was my simple formula within the quotation layout, we'll just edit, and you just go to the layout and then right-click and edit that formula. Click on the field, edit the formula, and change it to the rate that the finance provider gives you. So that's the quite straightforward way of doing that. Next question from Carlton. How would you manage in the quote the ownership after the lease term? Well, as regards what happens to the title of the goods, again, I'm not an expert on leasing. We are just QuoteWerks providers. So you would need to contact your leasing provider. But if you wanted to include that on the lease, then that might be in that report. It might be something that you would include in the report footer, or maybe something that's included on the quote that's merged into the quotation layout. Or it could be, of course, with QuoteWerks, you can include your terms and conditions as an attached file to the quotation. That typically is a PDF file. Maybe it would be in there. So a few options there, Carlton, for that. Okay, don't think there's any more questions coming through. Just to bring up to date with latest news, As of beginning of November 2020, we're about to go into lockdown again in the UK. So those listening from the UK, you'll be aware of what's going on. So all our training is online at the moment. We had opened our training centre, but now is not available for the foreseeable future. So we're reverting to our online training. So if you need any help at all on QuoteWerks or related products, please contact us for information on that. And we'll be happy to help out and give you training wherever you are, whatever location, whatever device you're on, and we can record the sessions as well. Latest version of QuoteWerks is version 5.5, and then within the version we get the build 6.06. So check your versions. The only way of getting updates to QuoteWerks is to sign up for an upgrade maintenance program, or UMP for short, from Wizard Systems. If you don't have one already, you're running an old version of QuoteWerks there, give us a call, contact Wizard Systems, and we can give you a quotation to get you up to date with the latest version and secure you for the next 12 months on QuoteWerks as well. Well, I hope that's been of interest to you. Leasing, including leasing figures on your sales quotations, leading with leasing. If you've got any suggestions for future topics, please contact me. My name again is Tim Wilmot, email address tim@wizard-systems.com. Got to YouTube, Wizard Systems, you'll see loads of other stuff up there from us. But thanks for your interest, particularly those of you listening, watching live. Do appreciate you spending the time to do that. And we'll catch up with you same time next week for another QuoteWerks topic. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.